You guys want to know something a little bit crazy? When I first got on MySpace and I started adding friends, okay, I've been writing commercials for a really long time, up to this point. I had a lot of them. Well, I started noticing a little bit of something different happen. When I made certain contacts on the computer, my commercial site started seeing new commercials. I noticed first with, I think her name is LT. She's on Model Mayhem now, but I found her on accident on MySpace. The thing is when I knew certain people, I could write certain corporations. Like only with Tori LT could I write Abercrombie and Fitch. And I told everybody that on MySpace one time. I was like, because I got headaches one time when I had like 7,000 plus friends. One time I got these really bad headaches. I would be at the movies later on after I was talking online, and I'd be like this. Okay, these aren't normal headaches. These are just like somebody has actually got a hot poker from like a fire pit. It's just like, do you like it? No. Like an emergency room visit. And the whole time I was in the hospital, I'm like, it's got to be my friends list. It's got to be my friends list. I don't know why they're pissed. Because I just think of them as having friends, but maybe, possibly, other women look at these other women. Now, you'd probably assume that I look at all of my friends that I make. I look at them when they add themselves once, yes. Once, yeah. Now, if their front picture screams to go look at something else, or in my case, certain people will actually talk. Like their picture will actually develop a certain sentence. They'll say something. Jordan Taylor one time said, "Hi, talk to me." Only Jordan. She was one of the first. And so sometimes if a picture will talk to me, or if it's just a really awesome picture to start with, I'll actually investigate further. I'm not trying to be an ass. I'm just saying that they always say first impressions are like pretty fucking important. I would have to agree. So I would look at who added themselves back. I wrote a lot of commercials and I called a lot of people in New York, and so when I was adding all of these people, in my mind I'm like, motherfuckers. I was supposed to have my Mercedes-Benz years ago, my Ferrari years ago. So when it didn't happen, I'm adding all these girls, like, call them, tell them. It was basically something along those lines. Anyways, so certain people would invoke certain corporations by accident. I didn't know why. And, you know, a lot of the Victoria's Secret models, when I added them, there's tons of them that could be them, but I was really prolific at being able to decipher, finally, you know, what's their real page, their very home personal Facebook or MySpace page. Took a while, but you know, eventually, by sheer accident, I would actually get there. I move really fast, and I would just go add, and then I'd find a certain person, go into their library, add, find a certain person, go into their library, add. And at that time, which it is not that way. That is not that way now, but in 2007 and 2008 it was. You could literally just press add, and it wouldn't say, "Are you a real person? Type in this code." It didn't do that back then. I could actually add about over 1,000 people in a single day. So I'd be like, add. I ended up getting the models. I ended up seeing perfume commercials for them too. And I wrote them. I wrote a lot of them. For Alessandra Ambrosio personally, I wrote a list of commercials. I was pretty excited when I saw them. I'm like, she's a bad girl. She has seasons. She has all the seasons. Seriously, Alessandra Ambrosio invoked. I typically just write whatever the file opens up, and I was like, this girl's some serious hardcore hottie. So I ended up writing a bunch of work for her. I haven't read them in years. It's on one of my MySpace profiles from way back when. Honestly, all of those are non-accessible to even me, because people go in there and change my own passwords, and then I'll get on one day and I'm like, I can't log on. and somebody hacked it. And so I can't get onto anything that you ever just see sitting there. It's because somebody else got onto it and changed the password. And I don't know who, but I can't log on to it anymore. But I had a MySpace profile. If you go into blogs, it has a bunch of Alessandro Ambrosio perfume ads on it. I'll try and remember them. I haven't read them in, like, God, 7 or 8 years, but pretty good about once I write it, remembering it. So, I'll start out with the Snow Mountain one. Okay, so there's this guy, right? And he's like trekking along in the snow. He's a pretty serious adventurer, right? And his beard is all covered in ice. He's strong, built, you know, and you just see all the blizzard. You know, it's a commercial that invites you into the horror of just how difficult it can be. And he's all by himself on this mountain. And finally, you see one knee hit the snow, and then his whole body just lays there, like he gives up. Next thing you see is just the back calves of this angel with these big, huge wings, and she's just looking at him, and he's beyond her. You can see through her legs. He's just laying there dying. You just see the wings settle into a stationary position on her back, and you don't see her face. You just see the back of her legs, and then the wings cover up her legs. And then it just shows her looking at him like, how pathetic. And she walks over to him and then kneels down in the snow and then just grabs some of the snow in front of him and then just takes a bite out of it. She doesn't help him. You see her wings take off, and she goes like, and then he goes, and you just see the Victoria's Secret symbol come on, and then it says, I think it might even be just like Cold as Ice by Alessandro Ambrosio. I have another one. I have to remember it. Oh, that's right. Okay. Let's see, I gotta remember it from start to finish before I go into it. So there's this wildfire, right? And okay, so there's like this camera crew on the ground where there's this wildfire going just out of control, right? Trees are burning, they're scalding hot, you know, they're falling down and everything, and there's just this news van that takes off. Well, then you just see suddenly this Victoria's Secret model high in the sky. Now, when they're flying and when they're flapping, it's like an aggressive fierceness to them, to where they're just born mad, born angry, and it's just an aggressive way their wings flap. They don't look like they're going to help you. They just look like they're there breaking and entering to view something insane, just to get witness of it. Well, you just see this bird in the sky, but then it's just got legs and it's just hot. You see it like thumping the air, and then it just and dives into the mess of all the flames, you know. And you just see it like fanning the flames and then walking around all the scalding mess of the trees. And then you just see it, you see just a lot of burning crews, you know, like running past it, and then all of a sudden flapping its wings and then fanning the flame, like, and you see just this fire just envelop all of these people. And you just see her take off, and then she just angry at life in general, just taking off, and you see her poised and looking at all of the fire once again, almost distant from the entire devilish nature of it, almost, because it's the fire of their soul to start with. And then it just shows the Victoria's Secret emblem, and then it just says the fire and the flame. So by Alessandro Ambrosio. And that's like another one that I wrote for. And then I had this other one. Oh, this one's actually pretty cool. There's like, oh, that's right. There's this sky view of like these trees, like this forest area. It's a very high sky view. You just see this really nice nature look. Like, you don't know my commercials. You don't know, because they invite you first. It's like, the music that plays, it's so nice, so beautiful. All of a sudden, you just see a meteor hit it. Swear to God. And it's a real meteor. It's not just me saying it's a meteor. It's a real meteor. And you know it's a real meteor because the trees are flying in all different directions, and the ground becomes this giant, massive cavern of dark brown dirt where there once was a huge forest. And all of a sudden the camera turns and you see in the sky where it just came from, just this door open up from like the fabric of the actual sky. Like, it's real, right? But then you see this door open up and the fabric of the sky opens up, and you just see this guy with like a rainbow built tie. It's like moving in color because it's alive, and he just says, the next one's going to be bigger. And then he closes the door, and then in space you can see Earth, and you're riding on top of a big, massive asteroid, and it's nearing the water. It's not going to hit land, it's going to hit ocean, and then it fades out, and it says Victoria's Secret meteor shower by Alessandro Ambrosi. Those are the three I remember. I might have one more. I would have to go back and look, but those are the three that I remember. And she did that. I didn't do that. Those came actually from her closet, because when I know somebody or a corporation, that's what actually talked to me. So I wrote it down right when I saw it. She knows about it. I wrote these in 2007, 2008. So, anyways. Hey, Ali. Say hey to the girls for me.